before we play this up-and-coming film, I want to thank Eric, my slave, for all the work he's done for me. This video is mainly because of him, so...
That chick yesterday at school?
Dude, she was so hot.
I know, right?
I know.
It's just like, I don't know.
Dude, it was just... Dang.
I know, right?
Holy Moses, he got shot!
Man, I'm so bored. Where is everyone?
Hey, what makes Christians strong?
That would be biblical spinach.
My mama told me that if I read the Bible every day, I would be invincible. I love you, Mama.
I think what makes a strong Christian is systems and stuff in that category.
What makes a meek Christian?
There's a couple of things. First thing I would say is Christian kryptonite. They fall down like Swiss cheese. Personal family issues, dang, people can cry like little babies. It's so funny. Personal tragedy, that's really fun. You know, you accidentally kill one of their grandfathers and they're like, boo, God left me. Drugs, I love putting drugs on a path, you know, like a little bit of ecstasy and no, Christians are, you know, like belly dancing in the middle of Safeway. I mean, it's just like, that's hot. Once in a while, like men, well, women too, but you know, usually talk about women because they're crazy, but you know, men, you see a girl in like tight pants, they're like, I want a lap dance. And that never goes over well, you know. Supposedly the big man upstairs, Jesus, doesn't like lap dances. Party pooper. And then last but not least, people that think Christians are boring.
I say we spread that like but most people see the path of God as like a clear sorry, my throat is people in the dungeon. And many people think like God is just this big old thank you. Yay, Bible. Many people think that God just has this like great, big, narrow path that you have to stay on. But I believe it's quite windy. Many of us are distracted by some things that in God's perspective is kind of small and I don't want to say insignificant, but it doesn't matter in the long term as your relationship with Him. First off, you saw Chavez being killed because he saw someone else die. And for many, you know, a dramatic circumstance can make them just walk away from God. And the Bibles that you'll see being dropped during the film mean that they're walking away from God. So that's how Chavez died in his faith, was because he saw some tragedy, and so he walked away. I believe the second death, was guys looking at women. I'm not going to say this is a bad thing because, well, I'm just not going to say it. But we make it as if it's something more than it actually is. Guys, like, if you're taking, and women, when you're taking all this extra time to look at men and women, and you're like, you know, just focusing on them more than God, well then, you're going to end up dropping your Bible student. It doesn't matter how strong of a Christian you are. Like, oh, he's not here, but as you notice, what was his name? Anyways, he got shot by a demon. And Yeah, Kelly. And he was still holding his Bible. Well, he was so focused on women, even though he still loved God. That's lost.
Yeah. The second death was because people get so
bored with the faith. They think we're nothing but rules. We just, have nothing fun to do. And obviously it was a cliche, but she was bored, so I killed her with bored. I mean,
I like it, yeah.
And I don't know if you necessarily saw it, but the next one to die
was really into drugs, smoking, and whatnot, and that's what lost her way, or his way. I'm not going to say what. So it got the neck cut. And drugs and alcohol are like always a big thing. You guys hear it all the time. After a cigarette, a glass, I don't want to say a glass of ecstasy. That's not I don't do drugs, but that's obviously not a very good thing to do. And there was only one survivor. There would usually be more, but we hope. I hope. But you see all these people die all over the place. And I'm not, dying in their spirit is way worse than actually dying in real life. You're going to be separated
from God for the rest of your life. I don't know what hell's going to be like. I don't know what heaven's going to be like, but I hear heaven's quite a bit better. Better location. So, yeah, personal tragedy, all this other stuff is going to make you walk away. So, we're like, okay, so those are the basic things.
But what other things are out there that are there to tempt us, there to make us walk away? And in several instances in the Bible, there's actual cases of spiritual warfare where you have demons infesting somebody. Now, I'm pretty sure this seems like a little far-fetched, but I don't really quite know what it is.
I've seen some really weird things. I'm not going to explain. I still have nightmares. But for instance, where is it listed?
Next one.
Okay. So, other than Luke 49 through 50, everything else, there's 3 stories told, and they're mentioned more than once. So there's obviously something really significant that happened in these places. One of them, God goes across the Sea of Galilee. There's a guy that's, kind of nuts, lives in a bunch of tombs. They cast a spell, the demon out of him. There's another instance where they cast a bunch of demons into a herd of pigs and they go and kill themselves. And these must be really traumatic circumstances. So if we think they're not that significant, they're mentioned at least 2 for all 3 instances. And so that's pretty significant for me.
So what would somebody infesting the body be like? Well, I can't quite imagine, nor do I really quite want to. But one of the instances, God, or Jesus, is having a conversation with his disciples, and his disciples are talking to him that there's been this man, and he's been preaching about God, and he's
been taking demons out of people. And then, excuse me. We're coming for it. And they're telling this man, you can't do this. You're not the Son of God, you can't take demons out of people. I believe it's a spiritual gift, but we'll go into that some other day. But these disciples rebuke him. They aren't allowed to keep on doing this. And God's like, no, anybody that does things in my name
and not for themselves is pretty much, okay with that. So I'll read it word for word.
Here, flip to the next screen, Danny. There you go.
Master, said John, we saw a man driving out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him, because he is not one of us. Do not stop him, Jesus said, for whoever is against me, no, he is not against me, is for you. I think so many times we get scared away by our own Christians. I know I scare away from myself. Because we are, for a lot of the instances,
really boring. We're stuck in a box. I don't think God made us to be stuck in a box. You guys are all individually significant. You all have individual talents, but so many times we think that we're Christians that we can't use these talents. And we need to learn how to use our talents, but protect ourselves.